210. Let's start.
Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat tonight. Today is midweek, right? Yes. And of course, tonight promises to be very interesting as always. I want to share the show tonight, as you always doing. Share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. The Nighttime Heat is your only unboring talk show. My panelists, often do justice to the discussion void of politics. Well, let me just have quick of what is coming up before I can introduce the panelists that are here for now. Let me just first, bring you up to speed with what is coming up tonight. There has been this public anxiety. People are concerned. People do want the issue of the 19 million drug investigation. They want to hear what really happened. People are concerned as to what is responsible for the slow pace. And so tonight we're going to talk about that, and we're going to look at the hearings today at the Senate. The security, top security personnel were all there. The IG, the Inspector General, some from the AFL, the DA, that's the Joint Security, who's handling the investigation. They were there today. So we're going to hear what they had to say. It was very interesting. Very interesting. The senators really held the security personnel on their feet, especially the Inspector General. So we're going to talk about that today on the program. Also, I'm sure you have heard that Delta Airlines has banned cargoes coming to, leaving from, through Liberia. They've banned that. So what does it mean for our travelers? How does this again affect our image internationally? Because I know the travelers who want to come in and want to bring in that cargo, unfortunately, they will be telling them on Delta Airlines, no, you can't, we're not going to carry cargoes or anything to Liberia. Because that country it's handling a narcotic case, and so how does it paint our country internationally? We're going to talk about that as well tonight on the program. Former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf spoke recently, just a few days ago, and of course she wants President Boyka, her former vice president, to pay serious attention to what she called a specialized National Anti-Corruption Court. The court has been set up, and so the former president really wants her former vice president, who's now the president, to pay special attention. We're going to listen to the former president, and we'll speak about what basically she had to say about the issue of the National Specialized, the National Anti-Corruption Court. But also tonight is, if time permits, is the MDR, the political party of deceased Prince Johnson. Is the party really facing a crack? Again, we are hearing about call for the suspension, no, for the expulsion, not suspension, but expulsion of Senator Samuel Kogan. Who's making that call and for what reason? Why are they taking swap at each other? Why is this internal attacks in Makari? Wouldn't that affect, the Unity Party? If I thought they're going to carry the current vice president again, if they're going to carry him again for as vice president, wouldn't that affect his votes? Because what's happening now, it could trigger into vote loss, and that could affect the ruling Unity Party. We're going to talk about that tonight on the program. Well, for now, we have Desmond Wion is the lone panelist so far in studio. So expecting the others. Desmond, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Good evening. And let me say good evening to our precious listeners.
Your your Mac is now on. I think you have to use the other Mac. That Mac has a problem. So use the other Mac. Yes, sir.
So basically, I would like to say good evening to you, Sabo, and good evening to our precious, audience, our listeners, viewers. It's great to be back, obviously, and like I always say on the radio, access to information is a fundamental human right, and therefore we as journalists, it is our responsibility to keeping the public informed reliably. So it is something that I dare so dearly, and I cherish this opportunity. I cherish this contributions at the CSR contributions, to the national development of our country, and through the information dissemination of what matters as a nation. So it's good to be back, and it's good to do what I love best.
Thank you. I know Moses will call into waiting. George Kennedy, I understand, is on his way. Tagba Benedictus Erasmus also. But we're going to begin the show. We're not going to wait. Again, listeners, viewers kindly share the show. If you watch the show online, just share the live video. Want your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners to also follow what's happening tonight on the program. This is your only unboring talk show on Prime FM, 105.5. We are streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. That's the Nighttime Heat Facebook and YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat out on your Facebook or your YouTube. You go to follow the show online. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia, 105.5. Maybe you want to watch the show on Prime FM platform. It's on Prime FM Monrovia, 105.5. Let's try to play the video quickly. Today, Mr. Wion, I'm sure you might have followed the House of Senate, the House of Elders. Today summoned or invited the joint security members before it and asking a couple of questions as to what's happening to the slow pace to the drug investigation and 19 million. What's happening at up present? We haven't heard anything substantial, but let's hear from the video that we have. I think the Inspector General spoke. Let's listen to him before we can talk about that further.
Things that we're still working on together that's still not declassified, it compromises everything. So, my program, Deborah, I'll appreciate if there's specific areas that the honorable senators have got that they want us to answer to, then we can go about talking about it. But at this point in time, the only thing I can say is that we've made significant progress. We are at the stage where we've moved people from just being persons of interest to potential suspects who could be charged within a few days. This thing is complex. To analyze all of the documentary evidence, the forensics, everything behind it, we don't have the capacity to rely on other people, different time zones. We have to be working all hours in between just to be able to coordinate to get everything together. We can assure you that there's nothing that we're hiding. The chips will definitely...
Can you bring your microphone closer?
The chips will definitely fall where it may. Because this investigation, it's one that borders on the future of this country. So if there's any specific area that any particular senator would want us to speak about, let the question come, and then we can go about it. But I don't want to start to speak to compromise the investigation. But yes, from the last time we were here till today, we've made significant progress. We have institutions of suspicion. We have persons of suspicion at this point in time that will be charged within the coming days.
Sufficient progress, and of course, individuals are to be charged in the coming days. Let's see what I got another video quickly. Let's play all the video concerning that. We can talk about that.
In 2024, arrested. There was a set of code. Information available today was Councilor Samboni in court custody.
With all the laws we have in the books, you arrest him.
Senator, we don't want to turn to public disrepute another branch of government, but I think it would be fair if you all take up that matter with the court. But we have simply said that this man was an employee of the RIA, he was fired, he was prosecuted and turned over to the court. So we don't want to say which one I feel, which one I feel, but instead of fight, we say, I'm sure we will come to the court.
Have you interviewed Mr. Michael Brown in this particular case yet?
There's a massive manhunt on for Michael Brown that has been ongoing since his name was reviewed in this matter. He's still alive.
My final question, Mr. Aji.
Yes, sir.
Have you made any arrests?
There's no arrest, but will we make arrests? Yes, we will make arrests. We have elevated people from persons of interest to potential suspects who are going to be charged within the coming days, sir.
Okay, do we have another video there? Okay, let's sort of play the videos.
Things that we're still working on together that's still not declassified, it compromises everything. So, my program, Deborah, I'll appreciate if there's specific areas that the honorable senators have got that they want us to answer to, then we can go about talking about it. But at this point in time, the only thing I can say is that we've made significant progress. We are at the stage where we've moved people from just being persons of interest to potential suspects who
let's pause that video. Let me welcome you, Mr. George Kennedy. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. Sorry for coming late.
Yes, no problem. It's understood. Now, well, you follow the. Let me begin with you. You follow the hearings today at the House of Senate. That's the House of Elders. You know, like they said, they're going to ensure that they follow up this investigation to the latter. They're not going to allow, this 19 million drug case to die down like others have had happened. So they were very, very effective today in their oversight. Let's hear from you. What did you gather listening to the questions and also the answers from the joint security?
Yeah, so basically, what we observed was part of the national legislature exercising her constitutional power in terms of oversight. And what we also observe from the angle of the executive that has to do with the joint security is members of the joint security or members of the executive also obeying the instruction or honoring the invitation. Let me have it better. Honoring the invitation of the national legislature, particularly the House of Senate.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen a lot of times where probably the House will invite members of the executive, and there have been a lot of reasons that have been cited. To some extent, we have to go about based on the deliberate intention or intention of those employees of the, especially the members of the executive, not honoring that invitation. At times, they have resulted into casting vote of no confidence. So I think the joint security acted, yes, they acted responsibly to have honored the invitation of the House. That's one aspect. Diving much more into the substance of today's conversation, the members of the Senate actually asked some of the hardest questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I followed the presentation of Senator Snow, the presentation of Senator Koga, the presentation of Senator Nominee T.H. Batekwa. I followed a lot of the folks presenting, making the case on behalf of the Liberian people. And one message sent out is that the issue is still contentious. The issue about the drugs, investigation is still contentious. That's one. And one thing that is not clear is the fact that whether with the kind of manner and form in which the investigation is being conducted, whether it is nurturing public confidence, into the process. Because remember, this is about public having confidence into the investigation. So if the flow or the pattern of the investigation is proceeding in a way that the public are becoming to suspect more doubts,
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a lot of concern that we should look into. But with the presentation of the IG, One thing I captured from his presentation is that they have reached a point, within the coming days, where will be charging people. He said that, and he also made clear that the investigation has reached a point where there are potential, those who were persons of interest are now being, to some extent, transitioned from being person of interest to potential suspects. He said that. So I think with these kind of revelations, with this kind of, affirmations from the joint security, actors, I think it's going to give some level of relief to the public. And like he said, in the coming days, that people will be charged. So that has been one of the demands of the public. That why is it since the investigation for the past 3 weeks, nobody has been charged? Nobody is a suspect. You still have person of interest. Nobody has been arrested. These have been some of the concerns roaming about the corridor. So I think with the level of revelations from the angle of the joint security that in the coming days people will be charged, I think that would be some level of relief.
Now, before I go to Mr. Kennedy, there was an issue raised by Senator Darius A. Dillon, and the spokesperson, of the joint security was dominating the entire
presentation or interaction.
The IG, let me put it that way,
Okay.
the Inspector General. He was asked as to why they were delaying in updating the public, why they were not doing so regularly, because the public is informed. And he said something. Now, because we don't have sufficient information, and so we can come to the public. But then, Senator Dillon told him, I don't know what he got that part, saying, look, whether you do have sufficient information or not, it is your responsibility
to keep the public informed.
And when he was told that, the Inspector General said, well, we take that under the advisement. You think, considering the sensitive nature of this whole investigation, we're hearing about, a crime that's not only in the bailiwick but also outside of
transnational crime. Yeah.
Do you think it's you think the concern that the senator had for regular update from the joint security, you think that
it's necessary?
That concern is necessary.
In fact, it is valid. It is valid because why? In the midst of accurate or timely information, you know what takes a while? It's speculations. So you saw a lot of librarians speculating, a lot of people speculating. Apparently they are shooting people. Apparently there are big hands in the government who are involved. It is the result of the government not informing the people timely. We understand that investigation takes time. We understand that all of these collection of pieces of evidence requires time. But in the midst of collecting these pieces of evidence, you must also see it as an obligation of keeping the public informed. So for the government to have waited for almost 2 weeks or consecutively 7 or 14 days without spoken a word about the entire investigation, it's concerning. It's concerning. So the senator, like he said, the government, I believe the IG acted very, out of conscience, rationally, take that into advancement. So now we're going to look as to whether there will be any change or any, maybe a swift in the pattern of the investigation. One that has to do about informing the public timely, another one that has to do about people. Now that he announced that there are potential suspects, to see as to whether the government can move on to press charges on those people who are now being described as a potential suspect in the world of the IG. So that a whole lot is being expected at the moment. Okay, so what we cannot say now is that as to for them, because the demand of the public equally so cannot or should not be a driving force that you hastily out of whatever blue sky and just go about charging people, because the issue of charging people, it is not just about you charging these people, it is about the government being ready and willing, intentional enough to sustain all of these claims in court.
Okay. Let me go to George. George,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
followed the hearing today at the Senate. First, let's get your takeaway.
I think the Senate performed better than the House of Reps in these hearings. They really proved today that they are the House of Elders. They were decorum and they gave each other chance to ask questions without unnecessary noise. I mean, in a hall, I mean, in a room. So the public was able to get information from that place today. We observe the spark between the police director, the IG issue, and I really use I'll use what I was in it, the police director and the Senator Koga.
We'll talk about that.
And, so I think it was a good hearing. Everyone went there, in my opinion, with clear heart to put out what they have, and the senators really pressed the witnesses, and those witnesses gave what they have for now. I still think they should give more. Okay, in my opinion, I still think they should give more. I think they should push further and actually inform the public. They should speak the truth. They shouldn't delay in communicating with the public. If you delay, as Mr. Williams said, speculation will increase, and if speculation increases, there will be serious doubt in the system, and that is why no government wants for your citizen to have doubt in your security system, whatever system that you put into place to work for them. So it's always good for you to communicate with them. I'm not speaking only because I'm a communicator myself. I'm speaking because that's how it should be. All right, that's how it should be.
So then it appears that you support the question asked by Delon, for a regular update.
Yes, 100%. In fact, it's long overdue. We've said this over and over. We said this here that regular update, we can see international wires, even up to date. The people still giving update on that Guthrie woman who got missing from a house in the United States. The security people can come and give updates. Always good for you to give information to the public, especially on this type of issue. I think we're hearing a lot of misleading speculation following this, because when the public is left to speculate, it's dangerous. Okay, you may be doing the best job, but you have to speak to them and tell them some information that you think you have that you don't have to share all, but you can update and say, look, for now we are here and we're moving forward. We ask you to remain calm. I mean, you should do that. Senator Delon was very right today.
Okay, now let's go into the drama also that happened there, and let me read this piece I have. Koga, President Boyka must suspend Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman, ORC Biago, and officers of the National Security Agency. That's the only way the investigation will be taken seriously. The Inspector General is shooting people. Well, that was a statement made by Koga. And in an apparent angry response, Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman challenged the senator's claim. Police Inspector General Coleman said, Koga, do you have evidence, Mr. Senator? You just talk loosely here. Now, that was the response also from the IG. And let me begin with you on this one. You think the claim made by the senator that he wants the president to dismiss the IG and the rest of the joint security members who are involved with this investigation? You think from the end of let me ask you, and I want an honest answer. You see, is that the way? No, I know sometimes. You think you think the way Senator Koga came in, you think that was befitting of a senator? The remark.
Yes. He's a politician. He spoke like one. he has a right to propose to the president or suggest to the president to dismiss his officials in the executive. It left with the president to listen. And I don't think it was necessary that the IG respond in that way. And we sit here on the radio. If we can tell the president fire this president, do we have the power to fire? Ain't I the one can do it? So if we say fire this president, wait, last night the way you're very hard on Biago, your own man Biago, your own friend.
Yeah.
So president, let them go. So Biago should insult you? No, I don't think. I think the police IG lost it today. He's not the type of person that I know. I've been knowing over the years. I think he lost it today and he realized and he apologized. I know the situation is tense. He's under pressure. They are under pressure to report. They may not have sufficient evidence. They may not have sufficient information for whatever reason. I don't think he should have lost it because, in fact, the senator, I think he went as far as saying, the senator now, saying that it appear or something I didn't get across good, like some of you shielding people, some of you be involved in this thing. So you are delaying this. That statement was made as a politician to push you. I thought the IG.
You don't think it was provoking?
If somebody will provoke you at time to get the worst out of you, okay. If someone provokes you, it doesn't mean that you should go the same way the person came. Senator Poka has been under political pressure in recent times. In such a matter, he may want to show himself. So you don't go there to go respond to him likewise.
Okay. Now let's hear from you, Mr. William.
Yeah. So I'm going to look at this from a very, broader perspective, right? The manner in which the IG, or let's say the IG responded to the question, or better so responded to the claims of the senator loosely. They speaking loosely, trying to say in other words, the senator was speaking freely, you're speaking misguided, version of what you're saying, he doesn't have proof. Yes, at that place, in that house, especially on an oath, as a public official, there is a law that gives certain privileges to the senators. To some extent, even it relates to the point of even when they make some allegation of you, when they accuse you, there are laws on once you are before them, your response to them should be guarded by respect, by high courtesy.
Okay,
and
let me hold you there and speak with Sando Johnson, former Bombing County senator, and also
firing senator, very firing,
and also the former liaison, right?
Legislative liaison.
He's no longer in that space anymore.
He's now with CMC.
Well, once a senator is always a senator. Senator, welcome to the program.
Yeah, Super Josh, you are welcome.
How you doing?
By His grace, I am good.
Okay. Now, I'm sure, Senator, you may have followed the hearings today at the Senate. Today the Senate invited the joint security members, and they were there, providing reasons why the delay in arresting people, although they said they've made significant progress. But first, let's get your reaction to this.
Well, in the first place, unless you bring me to speed, because I've been under the weather, so I didn't really follow the Senate hearing today. So unless you bring me to speed, but I think it was a good thing because the Honorable Librarian, the senators anything that is concerning to the Liberian people, the senators have a right to intervene because we speak to them. So I think it was a good thing, and we will continue to encourage the legislature to muster more courage and not to be afraid and continue to do this. I think it helps in the process.
Okay. Now, one question they ask, the IG of the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police is that where were they now with the investigation? And he said they've made significant progress, and in the next days to come, there'll be arrests of individuals, charge individuals and arrest them, those connected. You think that's a major development that some of you wanted to hear at the time?
Well, listen, it will only become a major news when those big guns are arrested. If they tell me they're going to arrest somebody working to the airport in a cargo session, then that becomes a total nonsense. Then they are not serious. Because the people at the airport, those are cargo people in the cargo section, and then they are not people of they didn't play a major role. The people that we want or those people that we want should be those who brought in the drugs, those who were responsible. These are the big guns. You talk about Mr. King. King is passing around. Drugs were full in his house. It was transported from his house to the airport for it to be airlifted to Brussels. Where is Mr. Dede King and his brother? They are passing around. And then somebody tells me they have made some significant progress. I don't see that being significant at all.
So you are saying that if King is arrested, that will help to satisfy your concern?
King is a major player. King should not be a person of interest at this point in time. King should be a major suspect who should be behind bars and others. But you leave in King and you want me behind people who were just messengers. Where is the taxi driver? Where is the taxi that transported the drugs from King's house to the airport? You are looking for scandal. Who's in our regular scandal is at the airport? Then they are not serious. No small boy can bring they can get in cookie. It's a big game. It's a big boys can do that. And the big boys are going around. And so if the IG says that they are making significant progress, we will see if you see the name of the individual that will be arrested. Because if they go and bring people who are just mere messenger, and they always say there's a trash and they are not ready to fight them.
Now, I'm sure you heard about a name called Rahim Ba. We understand from the IG today that Rahim is at large. Also, another name, some Ali. Ali too is so the bulk of those connected, they are at large. So how do you expect now the police to arrest them or DDA to arrest them when they are at large?
So when you say they are at large, I mean they are on the run.
Yeah.
So since the 9, why didn't they arrest them ever since? Why? And to come up and come to the public and tell us that they are on the run if as though we are children, or if as though we are people who didn't go to school, or some of us have security background. Some of us, our trainings are insecurity. And so you don't come to the public and play on us and think that we listen to trash. No. When last you got on the run? No. So saying that 9, you discover drugs at the airport, you did not make any arrest. Then you tell me, oh, look, listen, these guys are joking with this. And then it's going to hurt them. And all these things, all these things that they are doing, the person that will take the greatest responsibility is the president. They did not elect police director. They did not elect minister. They did not elect managing director. They did not elect security advisor. They did not elect any minister. They elected the president. And these guys are trying to damage the legacy of Mr. Joseph Newman Boakai. That's our point. These guys have hijacked the rescue mission. They have hijacked Mr. Boakai's mission. And they are doing awesome. In the end, the responsibility will be on the head of the president. He will suffer the political lashes. They're not these guys. So they are playing dangerous game. And the president has to act to save his own legacy and reputation. That is our call.
So, how do you want the president to act? To suspend?
No, most of them need to be suspended. Where did they draw pass? And they draw pass to the people of Monrovia, then the people, the head of the people and the security chief should be under suspension. The head and the RI and the security chief should be under suspension because they were the drugs were passing the goal. And the drugs came through by the way of the up to the border. Those people at the border should be held liable and it should be under suspension. The president needs to do that. You have suspended Mr. King. But Mr. King is passing around here. And Mr. King was on the cast board and he has been suspended as president, as a suspect. It tells you that this cocaine business is not a children business. We have been told, according to report, that this was the second shipment of cocaine that was going through Liberia. Look, listen, support. We will speak. And if they don't listen, now you see what the Americans are doing now. Delta Airlines has suspended business in Liberia. And so in the end, you think the Americans would take it, they would take this lightly? Drugs, the movement of drugs amount to terrorist financing and money laundering. And if we're not careful, they could consider Liberia as a narcotic state. If we reach at that point, we are finished. And so we will call on the people. If nothing happens, then let them put smart sanction on them. That has to stop. So
now, but
we defeated George. Wait a minute.
Okay.
We defeated George simply because of drugs. There was nothing else. We put that on him, and so we have got defeated. And so if the president, if these guys are misleading the president, they are not prepared to tell him the truth. The president and the United Party will suffer the political lashes. Because then the Liberal will not let them go free. They will vote against them.
Now,
the president was sacked. George, we have because of George.
Mr. Johnson, you sound like one who's suspecting something. Is that something that, in fact, that you're expecting? Maybe there are other big hands that up to present the joint security has not named. Is that what you're expecting?
Hello?
Yes. You got my question?
No, please say that again.
I'm asking you, you sound as if someone who's suspecting that there are some big hands and up to now, the joint security is still trying to shield them. Is that a reality?
It's not true.
You think the joint security is trying to shield? Do you think the joint security is trying to shield some big hands?
That's my belief. That people are trying to shield some big guns. That people are trying to protect some big guns. And if that happens, then the fight against illicit drugs in Liberia will be undermined. Just 2 days ago, the National Security of Liberia naked a woman, but naked her, because of
you listen to the Nighttime Heat right on Prom FM 105.5. Kindly share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. He's former Bombing County Senator Sandu Johnson. He's now an executive of the CMC of Musa Hassan Bedere. He's off the line. I'm sure it's internet disruption. We're hoping that he can call back and we can have him, we can conclude the interview with him. But in the meantime, George, your takeaway. First, before we come to what we talked about, today during the hearings, the senator from Maryland County, Global Brown, raised the issue about the drug law, which indicated that it's non-bailable. Immediately you are caught with drugs, you are arrested. No, arraigned before court and thrown behind bars. You remain there until the case is called, or until adjudication is done, and either you are released, or you are not guilty, you are released. But he was concerned as to why up to present, Mr. King, in whose house the drug was taken, why is he still moving about? Okay, let's try to
your question was, is the national security apparatus trying to shield or protect people or cover people? I said, in my mind, that is my belief. Because since the man who going to almost 1 month, every time we talk this, the people want to bring in George Weah administration to say it happened George Weah time. Yes, it is true. It happened George Weah time. That's why we punish him and remove him. That's why we replace him with President Barker so that these things cannot be repeated. So there's no way the United Party will convert by happening George Weah time. Of course it did happen. So that it can remove you.
Oh, you gone off again. Yes. Okay. So the Senator Blackwood Brown, like I was saying, was concerned about the drugs law. He said there's a portion which indicates that the law is non-billable. So why up to now, Mr. King is still moving about, not picked up, not maybe sent to a central prison until he can be arraigned before court. And that was one question that took the IG some time. You're trying to find a way to navigate, to answer that question. But then he was held by the law.
So it's concerning to everyone, because the truth is, I'm told that Mr. King has admitted that, yes, these things, my company handle it, not me as a particular person, but my company handle it, but posted or make him from your house, and it was transported to the airport. That alone, in my opinion, I don't know the details of the law.
Mr. Johnson is back. Let's see what come there.
5 minutes.
Yeah, he's back. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead quickly.
The whole nation.
So as I was saying, every time we mention about this drugs issue, some of the United Party folks will say, but it happened George Weah time. Yes, it's true. It happened George Weah time. There is no argument about that. That's why we voted him out and brought in President Barker, so that those things that happen cannot happen again. So if you keep saying it happened, so because it happened, it should happen, I disagree with that. And that's what we are saying. The security people, those that are responsible, they need to tell the president the truth. They need to expose those all that are involved, regardless of their status and their connection in our society. So, it is the poor people, children that are dying. Those mothers, those fathers who cannot afford this drugs thing is destroying the youth population of our country. And all of these big guys who are being accused of bringing these things in the country, none of their children made it here. They're going to good school. They're bringing this thing, making money all of our people, and destroying the fabric of our nation. We have a 6 million. And the 5% of that 6 million, they are all young people. Nobody in their paper or section will go get to the small. They started between the ages of 15, 18 or more. So it is the youth population that have been targeted by these wicked and cruel-minded people calling themselves human beings in our society. So we are saying, do not hire anybody. Be a politician, be a business person, be a government official. You name these people. If you want to fight drugs, you must be able to deal with the pusher, not the user. The pushers are those that bring in the drugs. And so, like I said, if nothing happens, President Barker will take the political lashes for this.
Okay.
The Librarian will not forgive him. So it is better for him to act to save his legacy. These people have hijacked the rescue mission and they are on the mission to destroy the president's legacy.
Okay. Thank you, former Senator
So
Johnson.
we will not remain quiet. We will not remain quiet. Again, to close on, we will encourage the Senate to be more, they must be robust. They should not be afraid. They are our representatives. They must ask these people the hard question. They must answer them because we are watching them. If they don't do it, we will call on the international community, the United Nations, the American people, and the American government to impose smart sanctions on them. We will not provide economic sanctions because the country will suffer. Those are responsible. Drugs amount to terror financing and money laundering. And so, now what the artist said today is my friend, I totally disagree. There's no significant progress that have been made.
Okay. All right.
People are hiding their friends.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you very much.
You are welcome anytime.
Okay, Senator Sandra Johnson. Okay. We're talking about the drug law and the aspect where that talks about the law being non-biddable.
Yeah.
And so the senators were concerned as to why up to now, Paul King is the name. He's not being held by the law.
That is the concern of nearly all Liberians are following this thing, or vast majority of Liberians are following this thing, because if someone is accused and there is a law that says when the man is accused, especially we're very close to this type of thing, the person should be here until the matter or till the matter is concluded.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the person should be walking. If the person is walking, the speculation as it is in the public will continue to swear.
Surely. And
this is what people, anybody will want to avoid. I know Gregory want to lay hands on sufficient evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But the law is the law. The law, even if it is bad, until we can change it, that's the law. And and even on the rape issue, sometimes he say he got to gather sufficient evidence, which is also good. But the law is the law. If the law is bad, we should put in for amendment of the law so we can do it better. How it's supposed to be like. So a lot of people saying things, some people trying to even involve other people that may not be involved because of some of these things, the speculation increasing. So actions need to be taken, as former Senator Daso said, since the 8th and 9th of last month, today the 1st of the next month. By next week, will be 1 month. And everything goes back to the president. It's true. And this president doesn't tolerate this type of thing in his life. His whole life is not connected to this type of thing. So if he gave you the authority to do a particular job, I think you should do it perfectly, and then so that the necessary action will be taken. Yeah.
Let's hear from you.
Well, so basically the laws are made to be applied. Okay, so looking at this current drug law that speak specifically to the issue about once the drugs has been arrested or has been confiscated with from you. It means that's on criminal investigation. That's the first-hand FOC. That's the first-hand evidence. All right. Once you are being arrested and the drugs were discovered that it was in your possession, that is a first-hand evidence for you to be, for you to be kept under detention, under the state detention, while the processing for investigations and then subsequently for what we call press charges on you for prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
But what we see in this case, it seemed to be an apparent shift of what we expected, especially in criminal investigation with the relations to the drug law. If there's a better justifiable reason by the joint security, I think they should be speaking by now as to why that these people have not been arrested.
Yeah.
One thing they have made clear is the fact that this case is not it's not like the regular case or regular cases. this is a very special case. It's a very hard, dedicated case.
Let me hold you there. I think
Which is a transnational crime.
Yeah, 1 minute. The argument that John Security made today was that yes, it's much easier to arrest someone, but you must be able to have that preponderance of evidence, so that when you forward the person to court, you'll be able to win the case. But you just grab John Brown and you arrest him, you put charge on him, you arraign him before court. At the end of the day, if he has a very strong lawyer, he may likely walk out free. But then this is where now the drug law, which the portion that says it's non-billable, this is where it comes in.
So yeah,
arrest them, keep them in your custody. But because like the IG said, they have people who are reporting to the police station on a daily basis. But is that what the law says?
So another thing, the law, it may not be written plain blank in the book that, oh, this is what should be applied. But even under the law, there are discretionary reasoning. And I want to believe, okay, probably some of the things that could be influencing the decision of which the joint security has not gone about arresting those persons of interest at the moment. It is because as much there's a joint security investigation and they are still collecting pieces of evidence. Because under the law, whenever police takes charge of you, you are there to be processed within the course of 72 hours, forwarded to court, and you must be prosecuted. So now that the joint security is saying that, oh look, since we are not in the position at the moment to press charges, or better still, to immediately have the people arrested 2 days after process them to the court. Because if you process them to the court, it is upon the government to provide the evidence, the sufficient. My criminal investigation says you must be able to convince the court beyond all reasonable doubt. Then I said some. So now that apparently the police may have gotten some pieces of evidence which cannot be fully sustained in the court. So what benefit will it profit the investigation if the investigation go about arresting few persons of interest, press charges, carrying them to court, then the evidence is not sufficient in order to win the case? That becomes a serious defeat on the part of the government. So I think another strategic method could be, well, we will not arrest these people right now, but we can there is something that to some extent we can maybe through the court can declare these people as persons of interest into the investigation, and therefore they shouldn't leave the country. They should be monitored, yes. They should be reporting to the station of which the IG mentioned, yes. But we cannot go about arresting them now, because once we arrest them under the law, they must be processed within the course of 2 days.
They should be charged, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should be charged. They should be processed and charged in the course of 72 hours, forwarded to court, and then that case can take assignment for prosecution. If the government at that moment is not ready based on the collection of evidence, the case obviously going to go against the government. And if that happens, it's going to be a serious citizen uprising against the government in the fight against drugs. So what I can say is that since the government have come out to say beginning a very soon as possible time, they're going to press charges. And I think now that you have gone almost like pretty close, like a month, I believe they may have gotten sufficient evidence, pieces of evidence to those whoever that may be charged within the coming days. Those people can be fully, or they can be fully adjudicated, or better still processed, and then the government be able to sustain her claims against this, individual that may be charged, and they may subsequently win the case. So I think that gives some time to the investigation, and now that they have given some level of hope, some level of relief that in the coming days people will be processed. So this time around, the IG also a frame of taking into consideration timely update to the public. So let's see what difference will their appearance before the Senate today bring about.
Okay,
in the coming days.
Now, let me ask you, comrade. We've seen a couple of individuals who were arrested with narcotics and placed behind bars, charged and forwarded to court. And some of those individuals today, they are still at the central prison. For instance, the son of Musa Hassan Bilidi. We saw the situation of even Boki Raw. And those quantities were just, they were just, smaller quantities. Besides, we also saw video recently of a lady who the DA had gone in there to have her arrested, and she was even filmed. Now, do you think the suspicion, or do you think, the perception by some individuals that apparently something is wrong? Maybe the joint security knows exactly what the public doesn't know. Do you think those building that perception or living with that perception, do you think they have genuine reason for that? Considering other cases involving just minor drugs and people placed behind bars and they are still there, and considering this one we're talking about 90 million.
In this kind of case, people will always build perception, especially with lack of information. Regular updating of the public, people will always build perception. But guess what? The drug law does not just cover the dealers, those who import the drugs. It also covers the consumers. When you are caught with it, it's against the law. Okay? So when someone is caught with a small quantity of drugs, the purpose of conducting extensive investigation is defeated already because that person is caught with that small quantity. But when you're dealing with a cartel, the main people who bring it, it becomes complicated. Okay? So when it comes to the perceptional issue, perception will always be there. People will always feel that the investigators or the state knows something that they don't want to share. And it's true. That is true. The state will not tell you everything in the investigation until the right time comes. So they will always have some information that they will keep and share with you what they think that is necessary that will not compromise the investigation further. Okay? It doesn't mean that they picking and choosing. No. Even on the issue of Mr. Bilete, he went to court, he was guilty, he was charged in court, he was guilty and taken to jail, right? I think that case was completed.
The case was concluded.
Okay, so it's the law. We can't compare Mr. Belete's case with this case, even though the whole thing borders on drugs. But this deals with who all bringing it in Liberia, then who all bought it to consume it. Okay? Belete will have been caught in the category of who all bought it to consume it, that they were caught in it. But who all buying it to bring it's not produced in Liberia. So it's a cartel. So to break them is a very difficult thing. I agree with Mr. William about the issue of timing. Except for the fact that I said, everyone of us agree here that the state should be given the time. But update, regular update has been the weaknesses or the major weakness of the security. If you update the public, speculation will reduce, will minimize. And once speculation minimizes, the people, the public become relaxed a bit, and then raising the kind of tension.
Okay. Yeah. Now, gentlemen, we heard some names initially when the Minister of Justice when he announcnced the presence of interest. We heard some names. Now, the RG had said today that in the next, in the coming days, people will be arrested and charged as well. Do you expect to hear some of those names that we heard earlier from? Because some of them they are large, but like the RG said, they could be charged in
absentia.
Fine. So, do you expect to hear those names that the Minister of Justice earlier announced?
Yes, we
all new names.
We expect. I expect that those names, those persons of interest that were announced initially, I expect that there will be a way that the government will press charges on them. And I also believe, or better still, expect that there might be other developed names that just came about, because mind you, since the government been investigating this entire national crime, it's been pretty close over like 3 to 4 weeks. So they updated the last update was around like 2 weeks from now. So apparently there might be names between the 14 days period that the public have not been informed. So there's a possibility that new names that we didn't hear might likely be, charged. And the reason why those who were named as persons of interest will obviously be charged, and even if there's a possibility they may likely, top those who might be charged. Because why? The entire discovery of how the judge came about before the arrest, before the confiscation, there were people who interacted with the consignment.
Yeah.
So if there will be charges, the first people the charges will be taken into account are those who personally, directly interacted with the consignment. You understand? The entire processing, the transporter, the Emmanuel Zion, even the warehouse, the warehouse people that were at the airport, the cargo handlers, they will all be they might all be charged. Or there's a possibility also, like the owner of the company, maybe initially might not be charged because he could say, "Oh, I'm just the owner of the company. I'm not like the fellow who is not in the country. He is the owner of the company, but he doesn't live in the country. So whatever a company does, yes, he shares some greater liability, some greater liability in that regards. You're based on consequences though. But if there will be charges being pressed, it could also be in the wisdom of the joint security to say, okay, well, since he still has some better justifiable explanation to keep him safe at the moment, so we can hold on to his charges and see how better to go about pressing charges of those who personally interacted with the consignment in question. So yes, those names that we heard, yes, there's a huge possibilities, and those names that within year, there's also a possibility that they might be charged.
Okay.
I'm expecting more people, like you said. I'm expecting more people. Some of them could be charged for with negligence, like the company owner probably who all over the country, and he did not have the necessary system into place to track this type of thing.
Mhm.
I'm looking at something like negligence. I'm looking at people to be charged with direct involvement,
Facilitation,
and other things. Because you see, the charge sheet is critical to the trial.
Mhm.
All right. If you prepare the charge sheet and you say this person is charged with facilitating a crime, and actually it's shown that you cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this person really did, you undermine your case. The judge is there to follow the facts in line with law that the judge dictate. They're not looking at all that plenty thing talking. I saw you say this, they say, okay, prove it. All right. So I am also looking at some of those people who we think that should be behind bars by now. Mind you, they could go for plea bargaining and become state witness to break down to help the state break down the cartel if all they get information about the cartel. So I'm approaching the thing with an open mind, knowing that just anything can happen at the end of the day. Because sometimes, let me say, God forbid that Mr. Kennedy, and that's when Mr. Kennedy knows the people, right? And Mr. Kennedy doesn't want to go to jail and just say, look, man, I know the people. I don't want to go to jail. And, go.
I can help the investigation.
I can expose everything.
Mhm.
The state can allow you to go to plead bargain. And at the end of the day, this is what the public mind need to be prepared for. When you see that, maybe, for example, they say Mr. King. For example, now, this is just for example, right? Say Mr. King, everybody say Mr. King will be behind bars. Say probably he having an investigation. We don't know what are these names out here about Rahim Ba, Ali, all of them, what are he the one? Nobody knows. Still behind the scene. So at the end of the day, because he's naming these people and some of the people being arrested to go to the state, he say, okay, I'm gonna plea bargain. That's my condition. So they agree, and you see that he's not charged, and you say they're shielding somebody because you're on the knockout bowl. And so people need to understand these things.
Now,
Yeah.
Gentlemen, this case, I know we'll shortly transition. Are we really going to get to the bottom of it, especially with the announcement made today by the Inspector General that some of those key individuals who have been named are still at large, including the Rahim Ba, the Ali, and the rest of them. They are still at large. Yes, he indicated that they could be charged, but they are not in country. Do you think we're really going to, the only man so far in country is the is the king. Are we really going to get to the bottom of this case, especially with the situation that some key players are still alive?
Yes, we can get to the bottom of this with two indicators. One, the full commitment of the government, and the full cooperation also of our let's say better say our international partners. Because remember, we were told by the government that this case is being jointly, investigated by some other, international security agency. So we can actually get these people to be brought into the country if the government is fully, undeniably, and unarguably willing to push harder to make sure that the perpetrator can be brought to book, and with the full cooperation of our joint partners. But remember, the reason why the government takes a bigger responsibility, it is the international joint security forces will not do for us as a country what we should do for ourselves.
No, but it's still difficult, Mr. William.
Okay.
The investigators, the IGA and his team, the joint security, doesn't know the whereabouts of Rahim Bah, doesn't know the whereabouts of Ali as well. So how do they find them?
So that is why
before they can be arrested.
That is what I said, with the full cooperation of our international security partners. So behind you, like for example, we got Interpol. I don't know whether they are there or not, but Interpol being one of a classic example. Interpol is an international security, apparatus. A citizen may have committed a crime in Liberia, for instance, and maybe fled to the America or whatever country around the world, and with the sophistication and the established security tracing network of Interpol, they can have such a person traced and have them arrested and be brought back to the country. So that's what I'm saying. But again, the international partners will not do for us as a country what we should do for ourselves as a nation.
Okay, now let's hear it.
So first of all, before I answer your question, I want to look at it from my own perspective. Why the government is following this case, wanting to get a conclusive ending. Number one, they want to break the cartel, so this type of thing should not happen in Liberia anymore in the near future, right? Mm-hmm. That's the objective. Number two, those who involve, they should be punished under our laws. That's the two reasons why this whole thing is going on. So I look at it this way, right? Let's say Mr. Rahim Bah, we can't get him, right? God forbid now, we can't get him. He's in a foreign country. There is no extradition treaty between us and that country. The only way Interpol, whoever can extradite anybody to your country, we have extradition treaty. Mm. Or else we arrest a person, and the person will be tried under that country's law. So the Liberian government can issue an arrest warrant on that person. The issue of drugs is international crime. All right? That's what the US does. They will issue arrest warrant and publish a photo, send the information to Interpol. Interpol arrests you in Guinea, for example, to tell the Guinean government this man is needed. All right? The Guinean government said, I'm holding this person, there will be trial. Then the Liberian government send the evidence, this and that, there will be trial on our law, because the Liberian court is not an international court. All right? So I just saying this from my mind, not a lawyer, and, from my mind, the way we can see some cases like the fact that you can issue the arrest warrant, and that arrest warrant is being executed by international groups like Interpol or foreign countries that putting photos is all over. So what happened is anywhere in the South region, anywhere in the world that person goes, those photos will be used. This is the men who are being charged in Liberia with crimes, with drugs trafficking, so that state will either keep surveillance on you or arrest you or deny you their visa, from entry, because you are already publicly being publicized as a drug law. Mm-hmm. So those kind of things are the impact that we make if at all we can get these people on Liberian soil for them to be tried under our laws, because they've committed a crime in our country. Okay, so it's possible this type of thing will happen in this case, and that is why the international people, the American people involved, they want to know these people. They want to know their identities. They may help us push this thing at the international level, and, so it's a good thing that's going on. But as I said, our only weakness have been communicating with the public. keep us informed, keep the public informed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, during the hearing also today, it was discovered that the DA doesn't have any detector at the RI. Gentlemen, I'm sure all of us will agree that this is a major concern.
Of course it is.
The Drugs Enforcement Agency that should be well equipped.
Do they have officers there, in fact? Officers at the airport?
That's another thing.
So
where are we? Where does it take us in our fight against drugs?
It's a very sad revelation from the LDA boss, and that is why I think this government needs to do more in terms of what they appropriate for the look. Sabo, I was doing some a pretty research about look what is being uploaded in the envelope for the LDA. A lot of money, about I believe somebody estimated around 7.6 million. See, just imagine this is a classic precedent case of the number of cases the LDA will be engaged with, heavily engaged with. Just one case, we're discussing 19 million worth of drugs. I don't want to, if not for exaggeration that is being reported about 50 million, what? You know what I'm saying? 19 million. But there is an agency that is just being enveloped for our national budget, something around 7.6 million. And in that 7.6 million, not much that is being targeted for logistics. A huge portion of that money is being, meant for personnel costs, dispatching of salaries and maybe some level
recruitment,
of recruitment and stuff. So it's sad. And if the government, again, it goes back to the government. If the reason why I continue to say if, because declaration of the fight against drugs, it is not just by declaration. It is not just by declaration. It is by manifestation. One, of how much we allot to the agency. Two, how effective and equipped is the agency, and how willing and prepared are the officers or those who are in charge to be uncompromising in the fight against drugs. But today, $7 million, but $7 million institution for is investigating 19 million worth of drugs. See the gap, see the disparity in terms of this man, the cartels already have so much influence in terms of how to go about, manipulating the system, manipulating the process, and getting people compromised. So, yes, this is a very sad message. It's a very shocking revelation, and I believe that the president have heard this, or apparently he read it on Facebook or whatever way he might have come across this information. He needs to make sure that whatever budget year that is coming, that the LDA can be well prioritized, and to some extent, the government can even bring together a committee, make sure that the people go look, partner with our international organizations or security institutions, especially look around the region and see what are some of the countries that are making progress in the fight against drugs. Go to them and ask them what are some of the so our people can be
took it carried to $7.something million. It is my hope that the next budget is to go around $15 to $20 million. I would really make the personal appeal because transportation, the men should be motivated. They should be at the airport. No cargo should come in or leave Liberia without the DEA scanning through. Okay, it should be done. If it has not been done, it should be done. We shouldn't just have one scanner at the airport for airport officers to scan. You know, the scanners, you can land them, and you know, and the package that passes through, the different scanners can be able to capture them to see what's there. And you know, I know we got budgetary constraints, but this type of thing is necessary for us to tackle the security sector, the entire security, even immigration, even the LNP, and you know, the LRA people, and you know, LRA, both the seaports at the border points, all those places, they need these things. If the LRA, for example, can raise 1.2 billion for Liberia, then the border points, all that, I mean, it costs across, right? If really we support them, the envelope will even increase further. So the DEA needs a kind of support.
Okay.
I personally say I think it will be around $15 to $20 million to have them standing up a bit stronger to say that we can compare them with some of these countries around here. Yeah.
You listen to the Nighttime Heat, rated on Prime FM 105.5. We are streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. That's the Nighttime Heat Facebook and YouTube channel. We want you to share tonight's show, share the live video, and of course, your friends, your family members, your relatives can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. Now, gentlemen, we still, you know, our emphasis is still on the drug situation. Let me read exactly what I have concerning the former president of the Republic of Liberia, George Weah. We know that this administration campaigned heavily on the issue of drugs. And with what we are hearing concerning 19 million, fresh 50 million, all the millions, you know, it shows a little shift in the promise made by the administration during the campaign. Let me read this one. Former President George Manneh Weah has accused the administration of President Joseph Human Boyka of turning Liberia into a narco state. In a public critique of the Unity Party government, speaking Saturday before thousands of supporters via online in Zerdu Grand Judah County, Weah said the 22nd anniversary celebration of his Congress of Democratic Change, CDC, to allege that drug trafficking networks operate with official protection while democratic institutions are being systematically weakened. The former president also declared that the road to 2029 begins today. Okay, now, gentlemen, that's not the issue, but the statement made by the former president that, you know, this government is now turning the country into a narco state. What is your takeaway? You think he has the moral to make this claim?
With due respect to the former president, he spoke hypocritically. You know, that was a very, I think, in my honest opinion, that was an unjust statement, because maybe if he wanted to have commented on the drug issue, I think the best way he would have phrased his title of his speech is that probably maybe you know, rescue government, or maybe the government sustaining or maintaining Liberia as a drug, as a narco state. Maybe that could be a choice of what I would have partially agree. I would have partially agree in a sense, yes, we experienced George under his administration, yes, we're still experiencing George under new administration. So maybe if you have said the government, or maybe President Boyka, the government is, you know, sustaining or maintaining Liberia as a narco state, maintaining, because Liberia expected to have huge quantity of 100 million worth of cocaine in the country on his watch as president. And the worst situation about the entire thing is the fact that those perpetrators were all exonerated. You know, they were all exonerated. So what's the difference in the previous, you know, investigation of the 100 million case and this investigation? Yes, the reason why we cannot make a classic conclusive, evaluation, it is because this case is still ongoing investigation. Unlike the 100 million case where perpetrators were arrested, taken to court, and the government couldn't prove that, proof of claims against those people in court. What happens? The people are exonerated. So that is what I'm saying. I'm not too sure that is the kind of precedent that the government also want to set. It could be one of the reasons why they are very careful and magnanimous enough, to take the time with the investigation to make sure that they can put the facts together.
Okay, let me hear George.
I think Mr. Weah was being political. He wants to buy political sympathy. Mr. Weah has associated himself with friends in the past involved in drugs trafficking and money laundering. I can tell you for sure, in 2010, that's his history. I mean, he was in the residence of Mr. James Bestman in Maryland. Mr. Bestman immediately was arrested there. And Mr. Weah himself was picked up. He was cautioned and later released, right? And we were here, for example, you saw Jamaica, right? We all saw Jamaica. Mm-hmm. Jamaica still operating. Jamaica. I
think you need to pay. You need to draft that visit.
Jamaica still operating as it was. Jamaica. We saw the club Solo running right here on Kerry Street here. Always be associated with some of those things.
So you see,
look at his friends, someone who does not have this character and try to merge them with. I think it's unfortunate. He tried to be more political. You cannot buy political sympathy with such because the Liberian people know the politicians in Liberia. There are certain things when you say about this government and Ambassador Boaka, people will believe it. There are certain things you say about the other government and former president. We have people who believe it. So the delay in this investigation should not make politicians to try to. What happened 19 times, almost 5 or 6 times. I don't know whether 19 times 6 can reach to 100. About
almost like 6.
Yeah. No, but apart from the 1950,
the 100
came initially.
Okay, so
the 50 and 19.
If it were caught, I don't know about the 50 really. Because some people say it passed, but it was not caught.
Okay.
So if it were caught, I don't know about the one that was caught is what we're talking about. That one was caught right at the Freeport, 100 million. And how that case went is public knowledge. And so it's just like what happened here one time in Liberia. Some Russians were here to rape, 5 Russians were to rape some Liberian with me. Certain things happened, how they left the country, some lawyers, it's like wanted them. So these things, when these things happen, we bring politics into it. It can kill it. It can kill the intent. And I said one of the mistakes the state security making in this particular case, lack of communication with the public. That's the biggest mistake.
Okay. Now, Mr. Weah.
Yes, sir.
Don't you think this matter, if it is not handled with care, for us to know exactly those who are involved, for them to be paraded through the legal process, don't you think this may likely haunt this administration?
It is already haunting the administration, and the reason is clear. We saw, or we were following some preparations of group of women initially who expressed interest, or better still, dissatisfaction about the way the investigation was going, and therefore they decided at the time to take to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
That uprising was not going to send a good message for the government. So yes, so it's becoming to send a very shocking wave about the government, and because moreover, like one of the weaknesses about the investigation about on all the delay in communications, the public are not being timely informed, and that alone, the speculation is on an increase. So these are all indicators to speak to the point that indeed this is becoming a whole troubling something for the government, and in terms of conclusive answer as to whether if the case is concluded completely, and then maybe the government cannot bring forth justice to the Liberian people. Oh yes, this will serve as a big blow against the government, especially in the fight against drugs, when the president has said it time without number how intentional he is, how prepared he is, and how willing he's going to commit his government in the fight against drugs, with this being a classic example to prove your competence. to demonstrate the resilience as to what greater extent can you push as a country in the fight against drugs. And if you cannot win this case, then what more can you prove? So it's obviously it's going to be a troubling, going to be a troubling concern, not just for the government, but for us as a country.
Okay, let me ask you, Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Do you see any? Do you see that this is now haunting the administration?
In a case of such, has two ways. I like good news or bad news. If it is bad news, it haunts you in a negative way. If it is good news, of course, it follows you in a positive way. The speculation is negative. So it tends to have negative impact until those speculations are clear. And that's why the media and the speculation is in two areas, two main sectors. If the public speculation increases as high as it is now, and the media speculation also is very high, it's a high rate. So there's a need always for communication. So if the speculation continues to be negative, it will be hard for the government to erase this speculation, even if they get positive news. So that's why it is always good for us to communicate, to tell the people where we are. The status of the matter will ease the perception, especially negative perception, in the public and also in the media. And a good journalist will always say, according to the government, so thing is happening. And they have done so thing. They are at this point, but we have not heard much more than this. And that's good journalism. But everybody gets in, maybe, it becomes risky. So it has a propensity to create negative perception of the government. It's true, yeah.
Now, there could be some individuals, Mr. William, and let me begin with you on this one, who may be thinking that, with all the huge promises made, and this was one of the major campaign promises by the rescue administration to rid the country of drugs or to minimize the trafficking. With this 19 million, and we heard about some 50 million, in fact, that we understand have already been passed. But with this 19 million that we are talking about now, do you think it has negatively affected the war, the image of the administration? Do you think it has done so?
Yes, it has done so. And once there is an alarm, especially your only reference airport, once it is being discovered or it is being referred to as a transit point of narcotics, that is a very terrible news for your country. You cannot dispute that. That is not allegation. It's a known fact. It's a known fact. The people arrested at Jos were at the airport. With the emerging report, there was no initial consignment that left. So the country now, our own airport has been referred to as a transit point. So yes, in terms of our international image, about our fight against drugs, it's kind of tinted. It's kind of tinted, by the way. Let me be frank. It's kind of tinted. It's kind of tinted. Today, it's at the result of that, we are now being affected, heavily by the close down of Delta Airline.
And I think it's still speculation in a way.
Is this speculation?
Yeah, I love the way people...
Okay, we're not going there yet. Yeah.
So until the government can try to clarify as to whether it is speculation or not. But I was also reading on Delta official website. I saw something similar to that. Yes, no, it was yesterday.
I've been there too, but you can't see anything like that.
You can't see anything like that? I think you need to check probably. So I mean, what I'm saying is that, yes, even assuming without admitting that Delta Airline didn't close or cargo services, yes, it has also sent out to the international community the kind of transaction that can take place at our airport. It has sent that message out already. But what the international community will be also looking for or looking at upon us as a country is the manner and form or the pattern through which we are going to resolve it, and or better still investigate the matter, that all those linked to the cartel can be brought to book. Interestingly, the government image can be restored in a very high, increasing, positive way. If for any reason the investigation, the government handles it very meticulously, manner and form through which everybody connected to the crime are brought to book and justice is served. Once that is done, and then it will also be reported, and the international partner will also view that report, and I think that alone will also try to restore the image of which that may have partially been, derailed by the evidence of the fact that the drugs were all discovered at the airport.
Okay.
So for me, I look at it differently.
Okay.
I won't look at it as being negative. How it left Liberia and arrested in Accra, so they left Liberia, landed in another country, and it will have been. So the state arrested the drugs. The state reported, publicized the arrest. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
It's positive. It's plus. It shows fight. It shows that the airport is not as vulnerable as people think. The state arrested or has been arresting drugs from people who came within the country through aircraft from other countries, arrested them at the airport. All right? It means that the vigilance level is high. That's why I made the international partners are not alarming as we, the ordinary people, are alarming. If the place was really vulnerable as we think, this thing will be passing, it will be arresting them in foreign countries. You say it came from Liberia, these cargoes came from Liberia, registering, it will have shown more negative, something like what happened to Ghana? 210 million. What for cocaine? Landed in Australia from Ghana. Now the Ghanaian government investigating how it left. They did it in a charcoal. All right? So that was more negative for Ghana than Liberia, where it was arrested before takeoff. All right? So on these things, most of the people you see in any country, you know what happened in drugs against arrest at airports in America, in the great United States, in any country, when the system is working a bit, that's why I don't want to condemn our system altogether. We need support, real-time support. That's what we need, in fact, to make our people more vigilant. When the crimes are being arrested, when criminals are being arrested for committing crimes, that were being committed yesterday or way back that nobody was arrested for, it means that that system is working. Let me speak to your question directly. What you said something about your question I wanted to speak to that maybe as soon as we ask the question, but it's just
what has affected our country image.
Yeah, this image building issue when it comes to this, no, because the arrest was made. The only thing is, as Mr. Williams said, the outcomes of the investigation, how we handle it, will further boost our standing to say Liberia is ready to fight. I mean, you are here in this country, the level of drugs, the way you used to see people standing up was sticking with kush. And I say kush now, yo, but you don't see people like that across the city as it was. People still doing it though. You understand? But you don't see that number, like every street road, you see somebody hitting a kush.
So we think we made some progress?
Yes, progress has been made. We still need to do more and do better than what we've done, though. I can tell you that for sure. Because you can still see some of our brothers hiding themselves and doing what their usual thing.
Okay, so just before we transition, let me partly disagree with Mr. Kennedy for when he mentioned that we made progress because we arrested the George our airport. No, that was not anything. So that was not a kind of major progress, honestly. It would have been a greater progress if we have arrested a consignment upon arrival. So the drugs came into the country. It been in the country for days. It was about to be exported. So what the message I sent to the international community is that Liberia is a transit point. For the fact that they kind of huge consignment couldn't be detected from the port of entry, it entered the country, it sat in the country, spent days, as per the speculated report that some were already shipped or better still, exported. Then that's not a major progress, because there are reports that the investigation, that led to the discovery of the drugs was fueled by our international partner. It was not an exclusive intelligence of the Liberian joint security.
So I know.
One minute.
It was never an exclusive intelligence of the Liberian joint security. It was based on support of our international partners. Or the government acknowledged that. The LDA acknowledged that based on intelligence of our supported friends. With all those arrests. He said that. So I'm saying yes. We must be fair. We gave some level of hassle to the government, in terms of some of the entire proceeding, looking at the fact that they would have called for press conference upon the time they arrested the judge, and they didn't allow a day to pass. Yes, that was great. It was fair enough. But the government would have scored A if they have detected the arrival of the drugs into our country. If they have examined that indeed this coming into our country is a huge consignment worth over 19 million. If they are stop to it from the port of entry, and that would have sent a very strong message to our international community that our borders are secured.
Okay,
Liberia is a safe place.
Okay, Josh.
So my brother agreed that progress was made.
To some extent.
To some extent, that his definition, right? But I said the people made progress. It's a progress. You say you agree, but not to your extent. But I'm saying this: we're not foreigners. We are Liberians. Nobody, as we sit here as journalists, we don't know which of our borders was used for these drugs to enter. Maybe the investigators know. We don't know. So I'm from Lofa that I can cross to my area. I can cross the border and go to Guinea and go home and come back. I can just cross like this and go. And so if we're thinking that maybe the particular border points are very basic where we got state security, that way it's passed until the evidence show. I don't have that evidence. The fact that thing was arrested and people saying speculation, this and that, it was the scanning officers that saw this thing at the airport. I don't want to go to say the international partner, they say this and that. The thing was scanned and saw and seen that was what we got.
So you want to discredit
I'm not discrediting anybody.
Okay.
Because I have not seen evidence that show that it's any other person other than what we're seeing here. All right? If evidence comes to show that this person, what happened to the port that time, that 100 million case, that tip off came from where that vessel came from. That vessel came from. This one, the tip off, they not tell you which country it came from. If I order any tip off, the thing was, the way it was dressed. All right? So we're saying our people did well. And we're saying they should even do better. You say you agree, but not to your extent. Anyway, but I say I agree. The state need to do better than what they did. The arrest is not negative.
Okay. Let's talk about what been trending, because we can outrightly say that the information is not true, because the government has not said anything.
Yeah.
Not the airline, but what we've seen is that Delta has placed a complete embargo on all cargo to, from, through the following countries. Oh, somebody trying to call me.
At Delta website.
The following countries. Let me read what I have quickly. The following. This person has okay. Yes, foreign countries on Delta or Delta connections aircraft, regardless of the airway bill stock. And those countries include Cuba, there is recourse, Cuba, Iran, Lebanon, Liberia, Libya. Okay, Liberia is there.
Which was the source of that information?
Let me just.
I don't want to know that.
It's
I saw that information.
interlane request. Okay, I got it from there. Now, gentlemen, the thing is, the information is out. And since this information came out, there has not been any reaction from the government, either debunking or confirming this. Now, it means that travelers on Delta will not be able to get their cargoes to Liberia or from Liberia. Let's hear from you, Mr. William. The message that is sent about our country.
So the first thing is that when decisions are made, you examine the period on which decisions are made, policies are made. This identical decision of yes, we were treated because like I said, I saw it on I made some research on our website on Kumo, and then I discovered that not just with Liberia, but what I know is that it's a shift in management policy. But what they didn't state as per the research I did, the specific reasons for which they have closed down, whether it is for drugs, but we know there's a possibility before an airline can put a hot tour, cargo services in whatever country, there must be either emerging threats, insecurity, or maybe economic deficit, all of these contributing factors, or probably the area is not secure due to something that violates that policy as a management. Because remember airline management, they have rules. They have rules. There are other airlines, they can only transport soft cargos, something like these clothing, soft this stuff, while other specifically the export food, different kinds of African dishes. So I'm saying yes, we are still digging, we're still making intensive research as to what could be some of the specific reasons for which Delta Airline has closed down for cargo service, not just to Liberia, but over I think 6 or 7 countries. But I saw a lot of basically I saw a lot of countries from our sub-region were capturing that, topping the list. So that could possibly speak to the region, what are some of the emerging threats in the sub-region? Okay. Could it be that you are referencing the case in Ghana about that?
So let me read what I have.
Okay.
I just try to Google something up quickly.
Okay.
Delta Airlines suspended cargo shipping to, from, and through Liberia in direct response to severe security breaches highlighted by a massive US 19.2 million cocaine seizure at Roberts International Airport. So it means
the source of the story. Google people put information there. That's it.
Comrade.
So
what up to now the government has not yet.
So I'm not doing it because I want government to speak.
Comrade.
Government not going to be responding to Facebook stories. Oh, so not all Facebook stories. Government.
Go ahead,
no, especially when it has it based on
go ahead. No, please.
It's based on the integrity of the government.
Let me speak.
So what I was saying is that now that with the reason you have stated in whatever you read, is upon the government to be clear about this. Let me be clear. Not because for any reason, if that is confirmed or arguably that it is true that the people have closed down the area or closed down a service because of what is happening in our country, they have that right. But then the government must always inform the people. Whether it is true, the government must inform the people. Whether it is false, the government must also inform the people. It should not happen in a case where if it is misleading until when the government will say, oh, why are you seeing circulating on Facebook? It is not true. It is misleading. It is intended to spare false narratives in the media, in the public. Therefore, the government should condemn it. That shouldn't be when the government should react. If there are decisions in the private sector, then that will heavily affect the operations of the government. And then it is established that this is happening, yes, out of the result of this. It is upon the government responsibility or state of functionality to inform the people that look, yes, the government has acknowledged recent development with Delta Airline. But doing so, that is responsible communication as government. But we will say, like you saying, that quoting the source. You know why all government will have Ministry of Information? The reason why they have Ministry of Information, there are cells, there are people in the institution who also brief the minister based on what is trending on the on the internet within the country. So you will not say, oh, the government, like you said, you sounded very dismissive. The government will not dare respond to any kind of Facebook. No, it's not about responding to any kind of Facebook.
This is major.
No,
Yes, go ahead. Now.
Is that what will
It's a trend.
Go ahead.
Data did not come to you and myself to sign those kind of agreement. Data went to the government abroad through the airport authority. If data is to take any action, that the first people they will inform. They're not through just mere press release.
So you're still doubting?
You got to understand.
Are you still doubting?
And maybe you get a man a chance. Okay, all the talk he talk, repeating himself, getting a chance. So for me, I don't want to dismiss certain things here. I said, well, the airport galley and the refusing to speak to it, which would be bad, right? When data closed down here, 2011 or 2014, between there, they said they were not getting sufficient passenger. You go there, it will tell you the reason. It's stated clear, and it came from their own website. Maybe they're using different means to communicate. Maybe they're using different means. But data website where I've been going since yesterday, today, I've not seen anything like that there. I have asked about Liberia Cargo Service. I have done everything this and that. I've not seen it. But you go to Facebook, you will see it as Facebook, Sonny. So if data say we're not doing cargo connection for you anymore, like your cargo go to Ghana where we can put our plane to carry to America because they don't come to Liberia, that thing will be announced to the airport authority, and definitely not about Ministry of Information. Everything at Ministry of Information for us, we have to say something. Airport authority can get issue statement or call press conference. Don't even have to tell the Ministry of Information to go and say. All right, we haven't heard anything like that. That's why we keep saying we're following it. It's a developing story. I know this is something that I saw a lot of politicians running with it. All right, but this is not something even to politicize because data doesn't come to Liberia for more than a decade. Data doesn't come to Liberia. Data starts to Ghana, it starts to Abidjan, doesn't come to Liberia.
Okay.
So Brussels and other airlines come here. If people going, you want to fly with data, you got to take connecting flight from here to Accra before you can get it. Get a cargo, that one, that's where. But to come on a show and be speculating, that's why sometimes it can be very dangerous to speculate on certain things. That's why when you read from Google, I say where the source, because Google will tell you according to this, it will be there. So with data, I have nothing like that. Because of the data website, maybe they got different means of communicating this time, but I have not seen it. I'm saying the line, right? But I have not seen it. And I think if all it happens, the airport authority is supposed to communicate with the people.
Okay, so let's take calls quickly. The calls are coming in. Let's take calls quickly. Thomas cut off us. Let's hear your name.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So this is Pastor Davis. So this one is food for thought. A police director, the recordings are there. You can hear Liberia so much to the extent that you want to give your stomach for interpreting. It's up to you. All of us in here, including you, Sobo, know that the work of the police director is to ensure that prosecution is done. Gregory is standing all over in the country. In my area, he do nothing. In fact, he's a student. Gregory has turned to lawyer instead of being the one to prosecute. My people, when the cabinet building Hudson attack, according to President Bokar, occurred, even people who were linked, according to Gregory, they were jailed. My people, today, where my journalist friend, former journalist, David, is it David Takwe? David, I've known you for several years. You've never been like this before.
David is now on the show tonight.
No, okay, so maybe he's getting me. I want to believe he's tuning me. My people, where is the bread headed?
Okay.
My people, Sobo, where's the country?
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Let's try to take another course. 0776 540 987. That's the number you can call to be part of the nighttime heat tonight. 0776 540 987. Again, 0776 540 987. You call this number, you're going to be live on the Nighttime Heat. You know, today we've been talking about the drug situation. The joint security members were invited today by the Senate, and of course, they spoke of what they could. And that hearing, in fact, has become the major talking point now. 0776 540 987. That's the number to call, and you are live on the program. Now, so you are talking about the issue of Delta Airlines.
Yeah.
So your argument is the fact that it is not on their website, it should not be taken serious.
Because this is a major decision. I'm telling you, when the airline decided to close its Liberia hub, right?
Mm-hmm.
They announced it and they said the reason why, or all on their website. Maybe from 2014, 2011 to 2014, it's too far. Maybe they have changed. Maybe they got different medium now of communication. They don't post anything on their website. But the first thing when I heard that information, that the first place I went at Delta website. Okay, and I've been checking since yesterday on today. Anybody see it? Just screenshot it from Delta website. I'll just screenshot that page and show the information. Maybe they took the action, maybe they didn't take the action. But I'm also saying that before they take such action, they will communicate with Liberia through the Liberia Airport Authority.
Mm-hmm.
They will definitely do it. They will not just sit down in the US and just.
But it's possible that they might have communicated.
It is possible, and that is why I said if I order the date and the Airport Authority up to now has not yet informed the public, that would be a big mistake.
We'll establish contact with the Airport Authority tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Wion, do you have shortly we'll be taking our party comment, but before, do you have do you believe what is on the social media concerning Delta Airlines ban on Liberia and other countries?
Until the government can give a reason not to believe. Okay? Because there have been media institutions that reported, and I personally, I don't know until maybe Mr. Kennedy can say the West that which I'm reading is on the verified website of Delta Airline. So what I'm saying is that in the midst of the kind of sensitive, classified criminal investigation of this kind of nature, information dissemination is keyed.
Very, very.
It's keyed. Look at the kind of reason that it's been attributed to the closure or the closure, whatever I could say, maybe alleged closure for the sake of being more considerate. Go look at the reason, because of 19 million worth of cocaine, criminal investigation is ongoing. Then the government said, Latin at Facebook, so it's of no substance, man. That alone gives more speculation to the public. That alone gives more speculation to the public. So yes, as per the question in terms of specificity, until the government can give a reason why we shouldn't take that communication seriously. So until the government does that, it will be treated as, it will be treated as information of substance, and the Liberian people will run with it. Some will believe it, some will not believe it, like Mr. Kennedy, who said he can't believe it until maybe Delta Airline can say an official email to say, oh yes, I mean, so the truth of the matter is that is the government must speak on this matter.
Do you think this is troubling for our image as a country?
Yes, Sobo. Yes.
Let's assume there's tourism in it.
Yes. Just enter our country without being detected. That is troubling. It was only about to be shipped before it was arrested. So let's ask ourselves, how many of these concerned men living in
the question I asked, let's assume there's tourism in the Delta and the ban. Do you think it's troubling for our country?
Of course. It means that the country is not safe. it means that the country is not safe because Delta being an international private institution, of course, they subscribe to international laws. And the thing about drug trafficking or drug, transportation, they are all international crimes. So serious organization or serious institution like Delta Airlines, well, for the obvious reason, don't want to get involved into a country that has been described as a narco state, or better still, a transit point for narcotics. So they will obviously close down their services. Saba?
Come here.
Even airlines, you see, this is just common sense, right? We like to try to play. Even airlines, they didn't close in Liberia in 2011, 2010, when the 510 million worth of drugs were arrested in Liberia. I worked for the Daily Observer at the time, and we reported on it. So the airlines didn't close because 510 million worth of drugs were caught, and that's the biggest, even more than the 100 million that were caught during the past administration. A lot of people don't know this, and get feel that the biggest, and you know this and that, 510 million worth. This thing is something that in this whole region, it has long history here, and but what is happening here is, that's why I didn't say it's not true, it's a lie, but I'm saying all these airlines, when they're operating with any institution, any country, before they take action, they can communicate with the airport authority of that country. I was one time, that was I just forgot his name. May he so rest me because he passed. He was the head of the airport authority, and most of the time we used to go for air show to Morocco and other places. He fought hard to bring Emirates airline here, and I'm sure that pretty soon we're hearing that Emirates airline will be coming to Liberia. So at the end of the day, it is not the Ministry of Information that going to sign the arrangement with Emirates. It is the airport authority, right? So any action that they want to take to communicate with the airport authority. So it is the responsibility of the airport authority to communicate with the public. If for all they don't communicate, this thing happen, definitely they'll be held liable. You ask, if it is true that the data will have negative impact on, yes, it have negative, it will definitely have negative impact on Liberia. There's no if and end about it. In spite of the fact that the two governments have very strong relationship, I think their businesses should continue, the private sector should continue to work together. Delta is one of the biggest private sector arm of the US, of the United States. So by then restricting our personnel, we carry you, but we not carry your cargo, it's a setback. It means that you will be going and your cargo flying by different airline, which could be costly. It could be the risk of losing some of your cargo and things is there. So to travelers, Liberian travelers, I wouldn't be happy about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So just before we take our parting comments, it does not necessarily have to be the Ministry of Information. That's why I said the government needs to speak. The government needs to speak about this. The airport authority is a government institution. If there's a reason for which they are not speaking about this, then I think it's more concerning. And besides, there is a general service to the public. So the airport authority may not have the requisite sufficient audience or medium to communicate such a high policy decision. That is why you have the government central communication arm, which is the Ministry of Information. And at the Ministry of Information, there must be a coordinating cells within all government line ministry agency. That is why they have all of the PROs.
But are you suspect? I mean, are you insinuating that the government is not aware? It's possible that the government should be aware.
Two ways, yes, two ways. It's possible the government could not be aware, and it is also possible that the government could be aware, but intentionally intentional of not revealing or better still disclosing this kind of sensitive information in this kind of investigation. Because if the government goes about saying, "Oh yeah, Delta Airlines has closed," she will also have to give reason why Delta Airlines has closed at this time. What criminal investigation about narcotics being discovered at the airport is ongoing investigation, and then the government going to say, "Oh yes," if for any reason they have the information, and then say, "Okay, that go clarify," which they're supposed to do. And choose and say, yes, we're going to do it, and they try to do that. Do you know the kind of outburst you're going to cause on the government? Do you know the kind of reaction you're going to bring upon the government that may even want to undermine the investigation? So yes, maybe for security reasons, the government knows, and they choose not to reveal at this time what the investigation is going on.
This is not something to hide. Liberians fly with Delta almost every day. Okay, if a Liberian is going by Delta from Ghana, you will soon hear the real news. Right?
Yeah, surely.
So I'm not going to have my head to kind of explain theoretical thing or whatsoever. You will hear when I go when data deny that cargo right here in Accra. Well, yeah. So this thing.
So let's begin with you. Your parting comment.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you, Mr. Joyce. It was a good show, and I want to use this medium to appeal to our security, the joint security. Information, even little information relative to this particular or pertaining this particular investigation, even after every 2 or 3 days, very critical. Just brief update. Very, very critical to easing the speculation in the public and in the media. Negative speculation about this thing is going wild, it's bad, it's not good for our image. So let's try to minimize it. Also to us, as professionals, let's reduce the speculation and try to give our people hope. Yeah.
Okay. So thanks for the time, and it's been a very quite interesting conversation, and we appreciate all of our audience, our listeners, and our long cover. It's great. It's great. And tomorrow we'll be back upbeat, fresh and ready to contribute as usual to the national discourse of our country. So yes, it's been a great show. And let me say, everybody have a wonderful night. Until then, I'm out.
Okay. So viewers, listeners, again, we want to thank you for joining us tonight on the Nighttime Heat. We'll be back, God willing, that's tomorrow. Until then, Sabo George is my name. Have a splendid night.